I'm at 420 Aberdeen Avenue in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, basically anything that would be of concern to the buyer. Our access here is actually is allowed to cut a section out of the drywall here. This is an 8x8 square. Hoping that'll be enough to get to it, and the clean out is right back there. So hoping I can get enough on it here as we go out that I'll be able to get enough force behind it here to inspect it. It does look like I am making my way out. Now, the interior line is cast iron. There's only a couple feet before this clean out, and it looks like it exits the house to the rear, just based off of the placement of the clean out. And we're already switching over into clay. Cast iron, just as a note, is bad for soft clogs, which just means like excessive toilet paper. Wet wipes are a horrible thing to use just because they catch easy on the rough interior of that cast iron, because cast iron does rust. And so just a note that I always like to make, that not to flush anything down the line you're not supposed to, because they are more prevalent, or soft clogs are a lot more prevalent with cast iron lines because of just the nature of how rough the inside of the pipe is. And you can never really tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are. This looks pretty open. Like I don't see any kind of bad channeling or anything on the bottom of the pipe, and the shape looks like it's holding shape really well. And then as we exit the house, we're going into clay, which looks like there's a bit of a belly. You can see the top of it. It's not even half of the diameter of the pipe. It's just that camera lens is only about a half an inch off the bottom. See some stuff settling on the bottom there, but that's all just the remnants of the cast iron. And so this is fairly normal, and it's a pretty minor belly. The problem is I would like to be able to get something on my camera to be able to raise it up a little bit. The house is vacant, and so it would probably be a good idea to run some water through here for a minute and just see if we can flush out some of this other stuff. It just looks like toilet paper and stuff. It's not a major thing, and as you can see, the water flowing down behind me as I kind of push some of those solids out. So we'll go out as far as we can. It's all clay. This is normal for the age. It's a normal material for the age of the house. Again, I wish I could get a little standoff on the camera a little bit to raise it up out of that belly. Bellies aren't real uncommon, especially in older lines like this. And as long as the line can overtake it, as long as it's only like an inch or something like it is, the water will just raise up to that level, overtake it, and continue on down the line. It looks like that's exactly what this was doing, but we can't see above that water line in those areas. So we would call out the belly in between those two footages, and then hope I can maybe I can put something on the camera to get it to go out. There is a little tiny bit of roots. That is the most common thing we find in clay lines. It's just some root intrusion, but it's very minimal. Like there'd be really no way for you to even treat that at this point, but it would be something you want to pay attention to in the future. Maybe take another look in a few years and see if there's anything there. But structurally, this line looks really good. Looks like we're diving at a pretty good clip here, and we're getting ready to drop into the main. This is a vertical tap, and that's where we are. So we've made it all the way to the main. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner the angle that we're sitting at. It's straight up and down. There's it looks like a little bit of separation there, but that's not a problem. That's on their property, and it's obviously straight down, so that's not going to cause any kind of hang up or anything, or any blockage. That's it's on their property too. It's right on the tap, so it would be the municipality's responsibility at that point. And so what I'm going to do here is, the water is still behind it, but I'm going to run some water in the house a little bit. We're going to pause the video, and I'm going to run some water a little bit in the line and just try to flush it out a little bit, since the house has been empty for quite a while. Okay. There's the water running, but I'm going to try to shake this off a little bit, get it down in there. I have a lot of, for some reason, have some build up on the front of this. So I'm going to try to bounce it around a little bit and see if that helps it out a little bit, makes it a little clearer. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and we'll watch it as we pull back. Try to flush out the line a little bit, but structurally it all looked like it was holding shape nicely. I didn't see any major structural issues or holes in the pipe or anything like that. So we'll get to a point where we can see what's going on, and if it starts to drop below that water level, we will turn the water off. I just want to let it run for a minute, like I mentioned, and try to flush that line out a little bit from sitting empty. Some toilet paper there. So this all looks really, really good. Well, structurally the line looks great. So here we are at that point where I believe this is where the kind of the belly is. So I'll push out a little bit further, right to here, and then we're going to go shut off that water. I'm going to flush the toilet a couple times more, but then I'll come back and turn that water off. So we're going to pause the video again and just let it run for a minute, flush the toilet once or twice, and then let it drain down a little bit. Okay, tried to flush the line out a little bit there, and now the line has dropped. Looks like we're out of there. I'm going to try to take a look. So about 34 feet. So we do have some toilet paper and stuff in there. It was pretty minor, but it was right after the line exited the house. It seemed like there was a little bit of a belly. And there we go, some roots getting in right there at the connection at 28 feet there. Now those do look dormant, or they've been treated. See how they're covered? There are a few coming through there. So it is something that if you cleaned it, it probably wouldn't touch it. It's not down in the flow line, so it's not going to catch anything, but it is something that in the future you may want to, maybe in a year or so, treat it with some Rudex. that would be like a yearly treatment, a chemical treatment, to try to make sure that the roots stay down, and then maybe have another inspection done in a few years just to kind of see where the roots are at. And I know there was a little bit further out, but we do have a belly here. It's very, very light. It's just about, it's maybe a 2-inch belly. You could see all the way through it, and there's no like root intrusion at that next gap. It just seems like it dropped. There's no obstruction to flow. Bellies are pretty common. I think there's a couple up here. It was like 28. So like 28 feet to, so 25 to 28 feet. And there's a belly, like one section of pipe that sunk just a little bit. And roots at 28 feet. And then here we go, another little bit. If you can see the flashes, that's what we want, because then we know that how light that really is. How light, and then we can see from back here to take a look to see if we see any damage up ahead of that belly, and we don't. This is another very minor belly, not holding any solids or causing any obstruction. So the line is flowing. And so really the only thing I saw, the only belly of concern was at 25 to 28 feet with a little bit of root intrusion at 28 feet. And we're back to the cast iron and about ready to pull out of the line here. So the line looked good structurally. Again, we did have that belly, and that was about it. A belly between 25 and 28 feet on the 25 and 28 feet on the video there. It would be a little bit, wouldn't be that far out from the, it's probably 8 or 10 feet of line that was out just to get to the clean out because of the way that everything's configured. But on the video it was 25 foot to 28 foot with some root intrusion at 28 feet that was minor. It's not in the flow line, but should be checked in a matter of time. You know, maybe a year or so. You could either treat it and or do an inspection just to see kind of where the roots are at, or you could treat it and give it a couple years before you actually do another inspection just to see, you know, what kind of root intrusion you have. Or you could just continue yearly treatments with Rudex as a precautionary thing and go from there. Wait a few years and see if there's anything, you know, before you have another inspection. And as long as you don't have any other symptoms, things should be working fine. The line is open and flowing at time of inspection, so you know, no major issues, no major structural issues. Didn't see, you know, any bad connections or anything, no broken pipe or anything like that. So the line is good. Just have a minor belly, maybe at the most maybe a 2-inch belly, which is fairly common, and the water can overtake that as long as you don't put anything you're not supposed to down in that line. It should continue on past that little bit of a low spot and continue on down the line and not cause any major issues. So that'll end the inspection at 420 Aberdeen Avenue in Dayton, Ohio.